talk to me a little bit. You're on the ballot for the 3rd Ward. The election is coming up on Tuesday. Why do you want this seat on City Council?
Well, first, I think that it's a need. We have a division in the council, and reason I want to be the 3rd Ward council person is I want to try to unite the council. But I have a heart and a passion for people. That's where my heart is, and passion is for people. And I think that you have to be a steward, a good steward, and you have to be a good servant. And if I'm privileged to be elected, I only make one promise. I promise to do my job so well that the unborn, the living, or the dead cannot do a better job.
This seat has been vacant since September when Councilman Quincy Murphy passed away. That amount of time has gone by, and this ward has had no representation on City Council. Does that bother you?
Yes, it's troubling. It's troubling because I know the charter. I know the Flint charter, and I know what it says about, appointments. The City Council has a responsibility, and so on and so forth. And it's lawlessness. And I'm gonna say that, I really didn't come to talk too much about the 3rd Ward. I've been in the 3rd Ward for 44 years and whatever, but I wanted to talk about the lawlessness that we're having, not only down there in City Council, but on our street last Sunday. Last Sunday, approximately 18 people were shot. 2 individuals, where I understand, was deceased. And my heart goes out. My heart goes out to those family members. And let me say, they do have my thoughts and prayers for those who were involved in that incident. All of it happened in the 3rd Ward, with the exception of one. On Alpha Way, that's in the 3rd Ward, where 3 individuals got shot. The same, we're talking about 18 people in a span of 2 or 3 days, maybe 21. That's the count that we have. And the fault, and I'll say it, that if you fail to plan, then plan to fail. And the police chief, it stops at his door. He is the police chief of the city of Flint. And prior to him, I don't know if you remember when the city of Flint was the 2nd highest in the nation of violent crimes, 2016, all like that, the 2nd. And we went down from the 2nd highest to non-existence in crime, relatively, below the list. And that was under the former chief, Tim Johnson, because he had a plan. You have to have a plan. And the people and the city council, they've been asking for a public safety plan. We have more police at city council meetings than you have on the street. And something is wrong with that picture. And as on council, we have to work together. And I think the council has a responsibility also to help formulate a plan along with the police department, the public, and the administration.
I was out there at the scene on Monday or on Tuesday, and a guy who lives in the neighborhood and has lived there for years, he came up to me and I asked him if he feels like this part of Flint has been forgotten about. He said yes, because he doesn't see police come into that neighborhood. He said it's a known problem, and we heard Chief Green say that it's a known problem, but what's being done and what can be done if you're elected to city council?
Well, what's being done is absolutely nothing. You have to be proactive. And again, there has to be a plan. I'm one individual out of 9 council persons. We have to sit down, and one thing, you have to engage with the community. They say it's gang related, as we saw in the story, what the police chief said. You have to get, somehow have a complicity to get with those gang members. Bring them to the table. As a police chief, you can't be scared to interact with the public, and that includes the gang. And I keep saying pass, because if you don't understand your history, you'll never understand your present or where you're going. You had police chiefs that literally called gang members in, and they had a sit down, and they had a talk. Then couple, as I was telling your cameraman, when you deal with the water crisis, that had a lot of those individuals probably drank that water and are suffering from mental problems. And then you have a lack of nothing to do-ness for the young folk. What do they have? Then you have, schools that's not functioning well. And so it's a lot of things that brings into this big picture. And no one person has the answer. And you have to collaborate. Again, I said the police department, the city council, the administration, but most of all, the people, the public.
Do you believe that crime is the biggest issue that people face here in Flint? That's their biggest concern right now?
No, I don't. You know what the biggest concerns? Opera money, roofs. Go through the same neighborhood where you were. Go through and look at the roofs with the blue tops. The opera money was not spent the way it was supposed to be spent for the people. And I know, as you say, I'm campaigning, I'm out there, scared to walk up the steps because the steps are crumbling. I went to one house, I couldn't even walk up the steps because it was crumbling. And they want to know what happened to the opera money. And the second biggest thing, as I hear, is the water crisis money. They're waiting for the water crisis money. I'm waiting for the water crisis money. And so those are the two major things, the opera money and the water crisis money. And then subsequently, crime. I think people in the city of Flint have just got used to crime. Just got used to it. Where you used to hear gunshot, you run and hide. You hear it now, you just flip the TV on another channel. And that's a sad day.
AC, is there anything else that you would like to add that we did not talk about?
Well, I just want to let people know that integrity, character still matters. It still matters. And as I said before, and I'll close with this, if you fail to plan, then plan to fail. Whatever walk in life, as a reporter, if you fail to plan, then plan to fail. You planned your career. You may have little bumps in the road, but you planned your career. And I think that where there is no vision, the people perish. You have to have a vision. And I have a vision, because where there is no vision, the people perish. And also, where there is no vision, there's chaos. You got to have a vision. And so if I'm elected, I look forward to sharing my vision. But most of all, I want to hear what the people say. When I campaign, the question they say, well, what are you going to do for us? What are you going to do for me? I ask the question, what do you want me to do? And then they talk about, look at my roof, look at this, look at that. So, we're a voice of the people, and we represent the people.